actually went full-time online when I only had like 700 followers before I really posted anything itself. Like I was scared shitless. People were thinking about me. I don't want to put myself out there. All my friends call me skinny, anorexic, scrawny. I remember my uncle would always put like his finger, like his thumb and his next finger around my wrist, my bicep. That was really discouraging.
Do you feel like it played a lot on your mind?
Oh, 100%. I was so committed to not looking that way. I was so shy to the point, elementary. I was the only one in the whole class that used a microphone. Like they attached that to me to a presentation. That's how introverted I was.
Are you okay with sharing that?
I would say it was definitely COVID that really pushed me over the edge. I believe a big reason why I was successful though is because I just worked off the motive of I gotta prove my parents wrong. Actually, he didn't think I could make enough money live my life. Then I asked him at that moment, I was like, how much do you think I made last month? He was like, I don't know, 5,000. I told him his face is something I'll never forget. All the things that made me become who I am, I was like, this is what people should truly experience. Not just the physical transformation, but everything that comes along with it.
What are some of the key moments in your story that have led you to where you are today?
I would say one of the biggest key moments that led me here was actually a talk with my in-person fitness manager, because I used to work at a Good Life Fitness actually. And this is like the first time I actually genuinely felt like someone cared more about me and my personal goals rather than just the companies alone itself. It's like, what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you know, like to make X amount for Good Life Fitness. It's like, no, like, what do you truly want? And I kind of explained my vision over there just because of how I kind of grew up in my kind of story, even working till then. And then, yeah, so that really kind of inspired the big change to go online and start actually posting, because even before I really posted anything itself, like I was scared shitless of what people were thinking about me, like what a post and like what my friends gonna think and everything like that.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 24 now.
So how old are you when you were going through this?
This, well, I was pretty much 20, so I was like pretty much 4 years ago now. Now, at that time too, as well, like I was literally posting like maybe once a year or twice a year, like max, and stories maybe 3 times a year, because like I was like so honed in on like I don't want to put myself out there, and I was scared to be honest. I was like, what? Yeah, so that was a big curb of getting toward my vision. It's like I having to post, sharing my story, and actually putting myself out there. And I feel like just that alone, there was a lot of personal development and growth, because it's something I had to.
Yeah, 100%. So was that you starting off at a gym first? So you coming into the fitness space, were you working as a fitness coach on the gym floor?
Yeah, so I worked as an in-person trainer for 3 years before even like pretty much hopping online. And that was like how I got started, more very traditional path over there.
And then what kind of led you to wanting to become a fitness coach in the first place? I'm looking at your content as well, seeing your journey from now packing on a lot of muscle, from seeing your story before. I believe, was it images of younger, being like skinny version? I was like that too. That's why I resonated with a lot of your content. I used to be really, really skinny when I was younger. And then going to the gym, that's the first reason why I started. I want to pack on that muscle, that size. Talk us a little bit about like your story growing up, like even just getting into fitness.
Yeah, so getting into fitness was, I would say, a big part, because all my friends call me skinny, anorexic, scrawny. And then I remember my uncle would always put like, his finger, like his thumb, and his next finger around my wrist, my bicep, fit right around that. And like, that was really discouraging. But it wasn't really until like, because I was so used to that already. But my brother called me actually like, anorexic one day, and I had no idea what that meant. So I actually had to Google that. And then when I saw that first image that really popped up, I was like, holy shit, like that's what he thinks I am. So like that was the moment that I pretty much decided to work out the next day itself. That's how I really got started to fitness, and every single day, 7 days a week, because like I was so committed to not looking that way and not, having that perception, because like that was such an extreme over there. I was doing everything I could to not. But then getting to like fitness coaching is like when I saw those changes in myself, it wasn't just like physical changes that happen. Like physical changes are great, and that's what pretty much sells everything. And that's very useful. But it was actually what comes along with it, like the person I became, because I was so shy to the point, like even in elementary, where they had to grab. I was the only one in the whole class that use a microphone. Like they attached that to me to a presentation, because I could not speak. Like I was so shy. So they had to bring a microphone that they just strapped on me, and I would talk and do my presentations there, and I was so scared. Like that's how introverted I was. But then like working out, becoming who I was like became more extrovert, just became confident, became like someone where I was like.
And how old were you when you first started going to the gym?
I was 13, so I was really young when.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All the things that made me become who I am, I was like, this is what people should truly experience, not just the physical transformation, but everything that comes along with it. And I
The
would
mental.
to, yeah, share that and have other people experience that because I know so many people could benefit.
I think what I liked from your content a lot when I was seeing that, like I think one of the first pieces of content that caught my eye was it was the public videos, the interactions. I think it was it all the girls on a night out or something, and you had I think the images of yourself, wasn't it? Which is like, which ones do you prefer the most? I remember seeing that and was like, that's actually really, really engaging. And it was really insightful to see what people were looking at, not just from a content standpoint, but more psychological standpoint too, of what people actually liked. And then I just thought it was like this really clever for you to educate your audience on like what do you actually want your body to be like and work towards. And it was just really interesting their reaction too when they realized every single image was you.
Yeah, those are fun to do over there. And like I noticed even from like algorithm standpoint, like that video would do the best. So I kind of kept repeating and repeating it and just
Yeah.
kept
Yeah, I saw that and was like, okay, I got to dive into this guy's content a little bit more. I could see that you understood what you were doing, and then just from a lot of trial and error, you found a system that had worked. And what I liked the most was like you'd always start with like your really strong hooks. And as I started looking more through your content, I don't know if this was like intentional, but it's how I interpret it, and I thought it was really, really cool, is when you would start your videos, but it was like, I believe it was a friend that you went to the gym with, but like kind of acted as like your ideal client, when they would say, oh, Kevin, how do I do X, Y, and Z? Or how do I get bigger arms? How do I grow my legs? And then how you'd go through your video and you'd answer those questions through the explanations in your videos. I didn't see a lot of people do that. Like that was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I thought it was very, very clever. So when it came to with your content, how did you get your ideas? Or was it just more sort of trial and error?
yes, a lot of my videos idea could spend every single day at least 25 minutes doing what I call like content research. So just like looking some other top creators in this space, or like another method I use too as well. It's like going on TikTok and searching like fat loss, and then go to like a filter, search like a top liked one in the last like 3 months, seeing those, watching those videos, watching the concept of it, and like seeing the hooks, trying to study that video, trying to replicate it in a different kind of way. So
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of trial and error, testing different kind of theories. And then
Yeah.
when I have like one video that would be higher views than the other ones, that I kind of replicate that kind of same things and keep running with that one. And usually I noticed my account really grew in like stages, so it wasn't just like linear growth, but it'd be like big.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, was your growth on social media, was it fast or like, yeah, was it slow?
Yeah, it's very like slow, but it was like different kind of phases, and that's because of like I'll call them series of videos that
Yeah.
do well. But once it kind of die off, that's like when the YouTube kind of slows down. Right now,
And what were those series that you were doing? Like, what were the type of series that you found? Because I see a lot of fitness coaches do that, where it's like, 100 calories in different foods, or like, was it like beginner's guides to trainings, things like that. Like, what were some of the trainings that you found? Sorry, the series that you were using that you found helped grow your account?
I would say my first one that really started doing well was like on TikTok. It was basically, oh, how do I work my back muscle or something like that? It's pretty far down.
Yeah.
Over there.
Oh, was it? I saw them. It was like the Dorito back. I saw you mention quite a lot.
There was like a skit with myself. I started doing skits like back in like 2020 or not 2019.
Yeah.
Like with myself right there. Yeah. So there was that skit. Basically, it's like, oh, how do I work my back muscle? Like that. I gave like some mind muscle connection cues, and that did really well. And then I feel like my mind muscle connection ones, yeah, that's probably the biggest series that really grew my account at different stages. Whether I was doing it within the gym or just cues that like I could just right now, just like, oh, try it out, like pulling your elbows back, grabbing it, and I talk to myself like that. And those ones would do really well, I would say. That my interviews started popping off, and that was a big series. That kind of
that was the first time I came across you, was seeing the interview style videos. I think another reason why you've probably done really well too is I think you've got a really good personality on camera. And I see a lot of fitness coaches that maybe good coaches, right, but they can't transfer that into their content. So when I saw yours, I was like, okay, you've got the charisma, you've got the personality, and I think that's what probably inspires a lot more people to want to watch your stuff and probably listen to you as well and see you as an authority figure. And I think what's great too is just from listening to you previously at the start is like where you didn't have the confidence in the first place. So it's like, how long has it taken you to gain that confidence on camera? And how are you feeling like now today? Because again, you seem like someone's really, really confident. What are some of the things that you had to go through in order to feel then comfortable on camera?
I would definitely say stories were probably the first one that kind of got over the hurdle. Just like recording a story of like, hey, this is what I'm kind of like eating over here, or in the gym, like just filming an exercise. Like that was like kind of baby first steps. But even when I filmed those stories, kind of jumping in, getting on camera, I would have to do like 10 takes before I was like, okay, this is half decent. So
I still
now
do that.
it's
I still do that now.
yeah, so now it's very organic. It's like one pic, just post it over there.
Hmm.
So just really putting it out there though, because it's gonna be cringy, especially at first, like when you watch yourself or listen to yourself. Like God,
100%.
I had the hardest time editing my videos. Is like I can't watch this
I
one.
can't listen to yourself back. It's like, do I post this? Do I not post this? I had that before too. Like I remember when I started making videos like 15 or 17, documenting my journey. And I think I did like 300 videos on a separate YouTube channel. I look back at them now and I'm like, I can't watch them. This is a different. I'm watching somebody else. I can't.
I feel that, man. It's just like, oh no, you're like cringing yourself. You're like,
And was this? Were you doing this at the start? Were you obviously making content alongside when you were at the gym? When you're working on the gym floor?
it was pretty much transitioning to Gym 4 to online. I was making the
Yeah.
content. Before then, I was never pretty much made anything.
And what kind of made you make that transition? Like, what was that point where you were like, the guy you were speaking with was asking about what it is that you actually want? When was it that transition when you were like, okay, I know I can do this full time and I'm going to take that jump?
I would say it was definitely COVID that really pushed me over the edge. I probably would have stayed within the company for at least a couple more years because of that fear of just putting myself there on social media. But it was like, okay, all the gyms are shut down now, and this is something I truly wanted to do itself. And also my fitness manager, he actually went online, so I saw his success, and I asked him how he was now, and like he was depressed, clinically depressed, and using antidepressants before. But then he was out of that stage after went online and just like he flipped his whole life around. So just
That's
seeing his
amazing.
change and my kind of visions, and also where COVID is going with all the gym shutting down, I was like, okay,
100%.
let's make this transition.
How many followers at the time did you have when you were about to make this transition?
I still actually went full time online when I only had like 700 followers.
Really?
Right. So I really
That takes balls. That's good.
yeah. So it was literally the moment that I matched my income from online in person. I was like,
Wow.
I can do this, right? So I was like
Yeah.
proving over there. So from that day on, pretty much put my 2 weeks notice, and I went
That's
full
serious.
That is impressive. And again, it's testament to how far you've come. And then from then, obviously, you've left and then having around 700 followers. How long from then till you started seeing that success come from those videos on social media where you started seeing more of the audience grow and the followers come in?
I would say 6 months, kind of when I really kind of started to pick up the traction over there, and that was just
Okay,
on
perfect.
TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok was like where I was posting like 3 times every single day, really trying to put myself out there with different video ideas, testing different theories and different like ones over there. And then I just got like, I think because I quit in October, and then by March I had like my first like 10K followers on TikTok, and I thought I was famous. I was like that, and like that's when it started to pick up. And then another 2 months after that, I hit like a no, not 1 month after that, I hit 100K because my video series just blew up.
Wow.
And then like it was like 200K. I was like, okay, well, that's when really my business was like.
And how did you feel like that transferred over with business? Who are like your target audience at the moment for your business?
Yeah, so my target is right now is pretty much men in their mid-20s who are trying to lose the belly and get abs over there. And they're pretty much people who used to be in shape like back in high school, but now they're pretty much working more like sedentary jobs, just kind of like lost themselves, trying to get back to like a version of high school, but actually better because they have more muscle now. That's pretty
100%.
much.
And did you feel like when you started getting that traction with social media in your content, was that attracting your ideal clients? Because I know a lot of fitness coaches I've spoke to as well, is they're like, oh, I want to go viral. But they go viral on a video that's not actually aimed towards their target audience. They get a ton of followers that aren't the people they actually want to be targeting, and they're not actually seeing a lot of business come from that. Was that something similar to you or completely different, and it actually helped a ton with business and reaching your ideal clients?
I got a lot of young kids reaching out because it was TikTok, and I got a little frustrated with that at first. I was like getting that traction, getting the followers. Then I found out pretty much like all of them were under 18. I was kind of sad after that. But I was like, you know, I'm just keep posting, keep doing it, right? And then as it kept doing it itself, obviously there's still quite a lot of young ones, but I was getting more because there's total amount of followers over there, and I was having that who were actually qualified and in my pretty much avatar I was looking for.
Yeah.
And it worked out then.
What do you feel like has been the best sort of platform for you right now with your business? Because I know that you've got like, I think it's like 60K followers as well on YouTube. And I looked as well, it's like 190K as well on Facebook. So like you've got a lot distributed along all your platforms. So what do you feel like has been the best for you to see results within your business?
I would say 100% Instagram and also Facebook. TikTok, not the greatest over there, especially since message really people on the platform. But you
Mm.
can, what's really not great, and especially links don't really go through and really click, and just the whole feel of it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like
Yeah,
a DM personal one-on-one kind of connection.
For
for
sure.
sure.
Instagram, hands down, is the best one over there,
Mm.
just
Mm.
because of how the DMs are kind of set up and the relationships you have to build.
And how have you felt with, because I saw that your YouTube content as well, and what was really interesting to see was your video where you got like 19 million views on one of your shorts, and it's paid you like $400 from that. So have you also found YouTube to be a good way of like nurturing your followers to then come and reach out to you on Instagram, doing with like our business as well, is like creating that longer form content on YouTube, nurture the audience with like more in-depth content? Has that been like a method that you've adopted that you do with your content? Or what's kind of your approach that you use right now with like content? Do you have like a strategy? What are some of the things that you use to help with acquiring sort of high quality followers to your business?
Yeah, for YouTube, I would say long form is definitely the way to go if you want to really try and bring in clients just via that platform. Shorts definitely hurts over as well. And just there's no really messaging kind of platform on YouTube too as well where you could one-on-one
Yeah,
DM them.
Yeah, that is the annoying part. That's what we found too. Is it's like I feel like it's great in regards to nurturing your audience, like providing so much value, them getting to see more of your personality. Because I think sometimes that's hard too, with like a 30-second, 40-second like reel or a short. With your business setup right now, what are like the revenues or how you're making your money right now? If you're okay with like sharing, what's some of the income streams that you have? Like, are you doing high ticket coaching? Is it low ticket? Obviously, you've got your sponsorships, I believe. Sort of, if you're okay with sharing, like, what's like your breakdown?
Yeah, so I would say 90% of my income right now is from high ticket coaching. I
awesome.
don't really much low ticket. I think I have like 3 clients on low ticket program right now. So
Yeah,
that's not something.
Yeah, I was just interested to see, because obviously you see a lot of coaches as well that might have like a big audience where they'll sell maybe like ebooks or sort of lower ticket stuff. I was just curious to see what you're doing with your audience, and great to see with the one-to-one online coaching, which is high ticket, which is great.
Yeah, so I would say 90% of my revenue comes from the coaching, especially high ticket over there. And then other 10% would break down would be sponsorship payments on the salary payment from HP Labs and commission based off Jet North. From YouTube, I get paid for like the ad revenue there. And also from Facebook, they pay me too as well. I was getting paid a lot more when my interview ones were doing better.
Was that from Facebook too?
Yeah, Facebook is paying really good from
Oh, really? I didn't realize Facebook. Would you say their payment was better than YouTube?
I was getting like 3.5 grand a month before when my interviews are blowing up from Facebook.
wow.
So,
Is that something you plan on bringing back with your content?
the problem with those ones where I feel like you're kind of getting repetitive in terms of questions because there's
True,
only like
true,
2
true.
of them that really did well, and I could ask like a million times.
I guess with your content too, you want to be able to do something like there's longevity to it, right? Like with the content that you make, with all the teaching points and everything, it's very easy to do. You can do it while you're actually working out. Whereas I guess with some of those interviews, you have to kind of force yourself to go out. They do seem fun. I've tried it a few times, but I'd find myself like, I'm so nervous right now just to go and do it. And then when you're in it, it's fine. I see so many people in all the videos online. I guess once you're doing it, it's totally fine. And then the reactions too, like, content like that as well just does really, really well.
Yeah, it's something more like everybody can watch, and it's almost like a mini sport to as well.
Yeah,
Because like I feel like other content, like if like it's workout ones, there's like, okay, they know what they can expect, but this one's like a whole story of
Yeah.
like, ask questions like, what are they gonna say? What's the response gonna be? That's just like very
100%.
deep.
And
And also
do you have,
people
yeah.
like
And how do you go about like filming your content throughout your week? So do you have like a schedule there where it's like, all right, maybe like Mondays, Tuesdays, I just film all my content? Do you like batch create? What's worked best for you when it comes to actually filming your content?
Yeah, so I always batch create over there. So every single day I write out the scripts basically for my content research. Then I do it once a week itself, where on my rest day, I would go batch film like all of the videos at once over there, just get them done. And I would just batch edit too as well, so trying to edit them all at the once. So that way I can have all the videos done and just ready to go. Because if you kind of do it every single day, we're trying to go back and forth, you are not as productive because you have to go switch mentally from task to task to task.
Yeah.
And that's how we operate like well as humans. If we just do like one thing, or just podcast like 8 hours and get the ball for a week, we switch more focused, productive. So just batch creating is definitely key.
Sure. And how often are you trying to post on social media at the moment? Is it like an everyday thing, or do you have a bit of a schedule there for sort of like when you're uploading?
Oh yeah, I post 7 days a week no matter what. I haven't missed a day, I would say, since I started actually. So back in like 2020 of October. So I 7 days a week, it's a day. And like everybody always asks, how do I grow? It's like I've been doing
Yeah.
it, every single day, never missing. Also just seeing what
100%.
works.
How do you balance that? So obviously now your accounts have grown and there's a lot more sort of like traction, I would guess responsibility on your shoulders as well. Like how do you go around like dealing with that? Have you found it stressful? Has it changed you? Like what are sort of the positive effects and sort of maybe negative effects that have come from like growing on social media now where like I would say you've got good influence in the space. How have you said it maybe has affected you? Is it good, bad?
I would say definitely for the good over there. I felt like once I really started growing, it was kind of like oh shoot, like I had to post less of my stories. So because before I was posting
Yeah.
a lot, or actually like more small things like every single meal. But
Mm.
now I was like, I guess maybe those numbers really got to me because like the average stories were like 20,000 people. I was like, yeah, I got to make it more like refined, more like
Yeah.
specific, and not
Do you feel like it played a lot? Played a lot in your mind?
oh 100%. It definitely
Yeah.
played along, especially with all story replies and all that stuff. And it was just
Would it get quite? Yeah, I was saying, would it get quite overwhelming, or was it not too bad?
at first, I would say it was a little overwhelming, but it was exactly what I envisioned when I first
Yeah.
started over there. Just very grateful to kind of see it all come around, and I'm truly grateful for all the support and everyone who follows me and all the lives that get changed because I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade it for anything. But it definitely
100%.
actually happened over there, especially for Instagram, because that was like one platform that wasn't like growing. And that was the first platform I posted on. So like that
Yeah.
was like
I say I feel like Instagram is a bit of a grind, but once you get there, I feel like it's just you never need to worry about where your next client's gonna come from. Like you've constantly got that engagement and that lead flow coming in, and that's all from organic content, which is really impressive. I think that's really important as well. Like when I speak to a lot of fitness coaches too, is it's like building their personal brand. And I feel like there's a lot of times where you'll see fitness coaches or just people on social media just in general where they've got a following, but it's not engaged. They don't feel like they really know them. Do you feel like now you've got to a position where you feel like you've built an audience and you've built a brand where people know who Kevin is, and you feel like you've just got people that really resonate with the messages that you're putting out there?
yeah, so I'm definitely trying to build more community now, especially as I kind of grew, like even bigger community in terms of like closeness.
Yeah.
Because like you're in that aspect. Like, I mean, I feel like because for anybody to work with you or really purchase like a one-on-one coaching, it's like they have to know you, like you, and trust you. And
100%.
that's something I'm really trying to integrate even more with my content, especially more recently, which is why I started posting like more personal stories and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Show like who is Kevin.
Yeah, because those are some more content that I really liked about yours. Is I even think it's one that you posted recently was when you filmed a conversation with your dad in the car. I think it was. Was that a recent one? I think you posted this month, and I saw that learning more about your story, relationship that maybe family members or experience that you've had before. I think that was really, really good because I saw a lot of your content where it was in the gym and your personality, and then seeing that human side to you, I think was great because again, I think a lot of fitness coaches might forget that where it's like, I don't want to be vulnerable on social media because it might feel weird. It's like, why do I want to tell someone I've had a bad day? It's kind of strange, but you also forget that where you are a bit more of that authority figure that people kind of look up to. Like it sounds weird, but it's nice to know that like it's okay for them to have a bad day or they've slipped up on their training and you also do the same. I do think it's really important sharing those messages of experiences that you've had being vulnerable, because when I looked at that content on your page, I resonate with that a lot. And I thought that was a really nice message for you to put out there. And is that content that you find hard to share, or is it something now that you feel a bit more okay with sharing?
I would definitely say it's pretty hard to share over there. And I actually have to ask one of my friends, like, because she posts a lot of stories. I was like, what do you share personally? And what do you kind of avoid? And basically, just kind of going down the rabbit hole of when she shares, or basically when she's processed those feelings and emotions of, she's still working through, she doesn't. Because very kind of slippery slope of like, let's just say the comments or against it might just really mentally work against you and just like you might be thinking about all day. So the ones I have kind of process them through, and they're still hard to get out there and film and everything because they bring up a lot of emotions still.
Yeah.
But it's just when people comment about that, I was already processed those feelings I already had. Guess like my
And what have been the responses when you post content like that? Has it been good feedback? I guess a lot of your audience can relate to that as well.
Yeah, so I remember the one with my dad over there, like a lot more resonated that one. I know the one I just posted recently, basically talking about I spoke to my mom like 5 years over there. There's a lot of comments that they're like, I don't really understand, but like I appreciate all the hard work you put in. And like I totally get that, right? So just kind of sharing my personal experiences though. And yes.
Are you okay with sharing that? Because I guess a lot of your audience is probably going to watch this as well, maybe. Because I watched one of your videos, and I think there was that videos where you said like your parents hadn't supported you on your journey with everything that you were doing. How was that process? Because you've come a long way from seeing that video. I thought it was very, very impressive with the fact that you built the business that you built. You kept doing everything you believed in yourself. I respect you for that. I think that's really good admiration on that side. But yeah, how was that process for you?
That process is definitely very challenging. And pretty much, I believe a big reason why I was successful though is because I just worked off the motive of I got to prove my parents wrong, actually. And that was lead up to like my pretty much getting my parents' support, especially my dad's, because the reason pretty much I even like got my dad's support over there is I started. This is one of my business doing really well.
Yeah.
Like when I started doing really well back in like July 2021, and I started seeing a therapist at the time. She's like, "Oh, just talk to your dad and ask him why he doesn't support you." And when I did that and kind of talked to him one-on-one, it was very nerve-wracking, obviously.
Yeah.
But bottom line was he didn't think I could make enough money to live my life. And then I asked him at that moment, I was like, "How much do you think I made last month?" Right? And he was like, "I don't know, 5,000." And I was like, I told him $22,000 in that month,
Wow.
right? And his face, something I'll never forget. His mouth just dropped, and then he dropped his fork, and then he was trying to say something. He's like, and then it was like quiet. It was funny. It was like, and he's like,
Wow.
"You know, Kevin," and like that was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
I was like,
How did that sort of like change your mindset or just moving forwards? Like, I guess because you've probably been for so long trying to get maybe your dad's acceptance on the career path that you wanted to go down. How did that feel when you realized you got that approval?
I felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders,
Mm.
and also just felt like the tension in the room every time I saw him was like gone then. Because every time I seen him or just be around him, there was like this uneasy feeling in the air because we didn't really talk or something like that. It'd just be like a hi or a bye, right? But then after that, it was like general conversation. Like, "How's your day?" It was like, "Oh, what'd you get up to?" It's like, "Oh, you going on vacation anytime soon?" It's just like, "Oh, how was golfing thing?" And just huge weight lifted off, no tension in the air. It's kind of like the feeling of like if you had broke up with like an ex before, and then like into them in the same
Yeah.
room, it's like uneasy feeling over the house. That's
Oh, yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive because like that's just sets you up for the rest of your life now. I don't feel like that's probably like the biggest thing you've had a hurdle to get over, that now everything just seems probably not as difficult as that, and it just transcends you to go to that next level. Like I had that too with like my dad died when I was younger, and I had a stepdad for a long time that I just kind of like feared or just never really felt like I clicked with, where it was like struggle to have conversations, or it's like, oh, would they accept the career path that I was going down? So it is difficult, but then when you kind of make that work and you make something happen, I think it's more so just proving it to yourself as well. I always felt like I needed to prove it to somebody else, but I think deep down with the insecurities that I had, it was more proving it to myself. And when I started seeing business do better, or I started seeing content perform better, and we were having impact in people's lives, it's like, all right, that I can do this. So I think that's really impressive and a testament to your, like how far you've come and the work that you've put in. And I think that's a great story to your audience. And that's why I always encourage like fitness coaches to share that. Like I went through a stage where like I worked in construction, I worked in factories, I'd tried different business models where I was selling mystery boxes one time because I saw a trend going on YouTube and I thought, great, let me try and make some money that way. And then obviously doing the fitness coaching and things. But then you get to that point where it's like, I was like, why would I share that with my audience? But I found that they really resonated with that because it kind of gave them permission that it's like, cool, like I can go through hard times and I can get out of that. And then from seeing your journey from the physique you've been able to build and all the trials and tribulations you've gone through, I feel like this, sharing more of that, like I always found it so weird to do that. But I realized that's what builds a really deeper connection with my audience. And I think that's where it's at now, especially with social media, is it's like, I don't think it's how big can your following get. It's more like, I'd rather have 50,000 really tight-knit community or followers, because that would be great for obviously business as well. Have you found that as well with your brand? What you're building with is just having that really tight-knit community and that pool of people where it's just like they're always there, whatever, it doesn't matter what you post or what you do, they're always there to support.
100%. And those are the people that are gonna pay your bills, but also those are the ones that are probably more likely to buy the coaching or invest into you too as well, because like how much they actually like you.
Yeah.
But also those personal stories, like you mentioned, they're definitely ones that have that strong connection. And that is something that I'm trying to post more of now and really share more of. Just because I got almost caught up in the idea of now that I have such a big following too as well, it's like, well, I'm kind of scared of what the perception of my kind of stories were.
What stories do you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, so even for like the one posting about my mom or something like that, like I was kind of a little bit nervous on the inside of like what the response could be, because I remember the first like second I posted, I kept checking notifications, which is something I don't do, just seeing like comments over there, and just like it's something that was just I don't normally do. I just like randomly check the comments and like all the time notifications, but they're all very positive, which is great.
I was gonna say, like, those were the videos when I watched, I was like, okay, I feel like I resonate with you more and I know more of you. And like you said beforehand, it's like where we have service-based businesses, like in order for someone to pay a high ticket for especially your service, they want to feel like they know you on that level. So when I watched that content from you, again, just from, I know I'm someone who creates content as well, but I really respect that. And as difficult as it is, I feel like it's so powerful, because you sit there and think, what people are going to say? They're gonna make fun of me. What are they going to think about it? But majority of the time, yeah, you more than likely going to get some great feedback.
100%. I'm glad I did it over there. Definitely took a
Yeah.
yeah. So do you post a lot of stories too to know more?
I was the same beforehand, where like I was like, oh, why do I want to talk about it? I was like, I want to provide value. I just want to provide as much value as I possibly can and like really educate my audience, which has been great. But I realized I'm like, I'll give them a load of tips on marketing and sales and giving advice, but I'm like, I don't feel like they really know me. Like, you know, I'm from the UK, or I'm 24 years old, sort of my history of when I was a fitness coach. Like, I have credibility. I was like, you probably think I'm giving all this advice out. What's my credibility? What have I done? And they like, have you been in the space before? Like, what is that? And then sharing that and sharing struggles that I've had with, whether that be mental health in the past, or experiences that I had with like losing my dad, or how that's affected me being a man growing up, of like, you know, not having that sort of father figure really in my life. Things like that. I'm like, oh, this sounds so stupid. It just feels so uncomfortable. Then the responses you get, it's like, man, I'm so glad you shared that. It's really helped me. And I'm like, oh, wow. Or then I'd post a piece of content in the next day or a couple of weeks' time, and they're now viewing that, they're now watching that, or I'm posting a story and they're commenting on that. And I'm building more of a community there. So it has helped me a lot, but similar to you, it really took me a long time to build that confidence to go and do that. Because I was the guy back at school where I used to make fitness videos in the gym, and I had like the Instagram account. But it was back when, because I'm in the UK, so our high school is sort of like our college and secondary school, and then you have like university. I'd go and I'd always be so secretive about it. I'd have like a secret Instagram account where I'd go to the gym, I'd film myself, and people would find it. And I'd come into school the next day and everyone's taking the piss out of me. They're like, why are you filming videos of yourself in the gym? This is so weird. But I don't know what it was, but it was like, I'd watch people like Christian Guzman, Steve Cook, and some of those guys. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I could do this. It was just something inside. I was like, I really enjoy filming. I'd go ahead, I'd film all my videos, and then I started vlogging. I was like, I don't know, it's just something I can do. And that's what helped me build the confidence of just like recording myself in public. I'm walking down the street holding a camera and people are looking at me just like, is this guy speaking to a camera right now? This is so weird. But I didn't realize at the time, but I was like, that was helping me build so many life skills of having confidence on camera, speaking to people, speaking to new people like yourself. I have the confidence to reach out to people that maybe I admire, I'm inspired by on social media. Let me connect with them. Before, I wouldn't do that. I'd feel so insecure. Even before jumping on this call with yourself, I was like, oh, I haven't spoke to Kevin really before. Hopefully you have a good conversation, have a good chat. But it's like doing those things. So it's jumping outside your comfort zone, speak to people and connecting. And that has changed a lot for me with social media. And I think what's helped me too is like genuinely taking the time to like speak with people that follow me, who watch my stuff. And yeah, that's changed a lot for me. So how do you feel now as well, like posting more of your stories? Because you said beforehand, how do you feel now with posting on your stories? Is that better? Because I saw recently on one of your recent stories, you'd come out of the hospital. You had, was it something, I can't remember, was it shoulder or something? I think you had a problem with, but yeah, it's still sharing that side of things. I think is really, really important.
Yeah, so I feel a little bit better now with sharing stories. I feel very emotional because like I feel time I do film it, one, it brings up that emotion back up again, going through like the whole scenario. But also it's like when I'm engaging back in the comments, it brings me back another time. Like each time I'm coming back to them, I was like brings me back there. So it's like emotionally kind of draining. But I love the support over there. It's a lot that takes out of me.
It must be weird of like, you want it for so long and now you have that, it's kind of like, damn, like there is a lot of responsibility there, but you don't realize it's like, wow, like you have like a huge opportunity as well. Like there's so many people that you can now help. Like you have that influence of changing so many people's lives. I can imagine it feels weird, like posting stories, being vulnerable, and it's like, you know, what are people thinking? But I don't know, I guess it's like that excitement too, where you generally, like you're going to be able to impact thousands of people's lives. Like it's impressive. Like it's really, really good. And what you've been able to build, man, like I take my hat off to you. Like it is really, really impressive. I don't know, like you're probably used to it now being in it, but like from where you started and hearing like your story, like it's really, really impressive. Like business you've been able to build, the fact that, you know, you mentioned that you spoke to your dad and you'd made $22,000 in a month, which is really, really impressive. So which you don't mind me asking, like, sort of where's business at the moment? Is it still roughly sort of those similar numbers? Like what are some like the peak numbers you've been able to build, or you've been able to get to with building your online business?
Yeah, so I would say my highest one was like 26,000 over there, and my average month is 19,000 right now. So it's kind of really fun between there. I know there's a lot more mental barriers I have to break through in self-development, like self-limiting beliefs is what I call them. I'm really trying to tackle ones as I kind of grew in the business.
What were some of the ones that you had?
For self-limiting beliefs?
Yeah, like what were some of the big ones you had coming into business?
I would say coming into business versus now are a lot different, but coming into business wise, I think the big self-limiting belief was, well, what are people going to think about me? And just like, is this something, can I put myself out there without feeling judged or really taking it personally? That was like coming into business, because I never posted before. That's what I was really scared of. It's like, that was a self-limiting belief that I had to truly overcome over there.
100%.
And it was, are people going to give a shit about what I say? That was like,
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Why would they watch my stuff when they could watch like Christian Hughes ones? They could watch, you know, Ronnie Coleman stuff or something like that more, right? So that was a big self-limiting belief when I was getting to the space too as well. I would say those are top two, but now my self-limiting belief back in the level are different itself, and that's something I
was the same. Like coming into it, it's like, what people are going to think of me posting content. It sounds strange, but like I was grateful that people, like even to my face, would say I was weird for posting videos. Over here, it's like we use the word like cringy, it's embarrassing. Why would you do that? Soon, like my actions will do the speaking, and now it's like having high ticket coaching and service, and it's like, wow, like, it's just like I said before, it's like proving that to yourself. But no, I think it is really important to take that time, learn those skills, and that's what helps you get over those limiting beliefs. Is I think it's just the experience and proving it to yourself that you can get the results, that you can get the results for your clients. It is working, and it's like, well, great, like I haven't really got anything to worry about now. And I think it's just, I used to have a scarcity mindset about money. Like I grew up not having loads of money. I was always told growing up, like, we don't have a lot, we can't spend a lot, we've got to save loads. With coming into business, I was always so afraid of like, can I charge high ticket? Like, are people going to want to buy high ticket from me? Like those used to be limiting beliefs that I had. And it's quite rewarding when you break down those barriers and you realize like it is just a game. Like I just went through now, I just kind of gamify business, I kind of gamify content, where it's like, it's just stacking skills. How can I get to the next level? And that's helped me a lot. What are some of the things that you've maybe used yourself that's helped you kind of elevate in business, your mindset as well? Like, is there any sort of like tips, tricks that you've used that have helped you as well?
I hired a business mentor, and that was the best thing getting into the space over there. Like when I first made that transition, because I had absolutely no idea how to go online, what content to post or anything like that. And hiring a business coach really helped that. And that's it. But one of the biggest things that really helped with that too as well, not just the course and knowing what to post and do, it was just surrounding myself with all the online coaches in that community who are always winning. Because I always saw like other online fitness coach posting like record months and stuff like that, 50K, 70K, 100K. It's like, holy shit, you could do it, I could do that. Or like, you know, he's not more jacked than me, I could do it. Or just like, jacked than me, I could do it. But,
it is a limiting belief.
100%. So it's just knowing someone else that I knew or in the same group did it. Well, fuck, I could do it too, right? And it's just like that competition too as well. And just now it's just truly surrounding myself with people who are winning, but also trying to do better. And that's huge.
I do agree. I think your environment is key. And obviously we live in that online space now, but it is still, like I said, being in communities like that you build with your coaching program as well. It's like people holding you accountable. You're seeing other people get results is a really fulfilling thing to be a part of. And it's going to strive you to that next level. So obviously listen to everything that you've spoke about today and speaking with you. Like, so what are some of the goals that you have personally and in business for the future? Like what's the come for Kevin?
Yeah, so I would say, because I have like a vision board over here, I look at it every single day.
Yeah, I love it.
So business-wise, it'd be 50K a month over there. Like that's pretty standard. I really want to make sure it's very consistent in that aspect. Having the 5 employees, I have 2 right now itself, so just another 3. And also just moving to another city called Kelowna, because I'm here in Canada. Yeah, and that's like a fitness hub, and it's a lot more expensive, but it's it's whatever. I make good money and stuff like that. And just being surrounded by more people who are in the space, online coaching or fitness wise, I believe will help me level up into the environment going to.
Yeah.
I'm just really putting myself out there. So I'm planning to do that in February, moving there fully. So I just really want to like level up, take it to the next level. I know the environment's obviously a big one itself.
Mm.
And I actually do believe pushing myself out there and putting myself there, it's gonna force me to level up.
But no, I appreciate you coming on for today, mate, talking about your journey and how you've got to where you are today.